Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Portsmouth Maritime Book Festival. This is our 21st year. Of course, we're a brand new board. We took over before the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit, and yeah, we're riding the storm. So welcome to our virtual festival, and I want to thank all of you for coming and supporting us. A little about the Witch of the Wave. She was built, that's the names of all the rooms are of historic of ships that were built in Portsmouth. And Witch of the Wave was built by George Rains in 1850, North Mill Pond, and it was delivered to Salem, Massachusetts in 1851. She was a long-lived extreme clipper. She sailed for 34 years as part of the California trade, and in 1851, she sailed from Calcutta to Boston in 81 days and set a record. When she was bought in 1871 by her new owners, she was renamed Electra in Amsterdam. All right, so today we have for you Edith and Bennett and Larry Kaplan.
Awesome, it's so great to be here.
Everybody.
Welcome. I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourselves.
All right, Larry, you go first.
Okay, well, once again, it's a pleasure to sing with you folks. I enjoyed that last session very much. And as I said before, I know you're doing some really good things there in Maine. You're really making a major contribution. And you're doing something with school kids too, right? Is that what's happening? They come over and yeah, that's just great. I mean, that's a real community-based activity. So commend you for that. Well, I'm going to start with a song called "Too Late for the Breaking Yard," and I don't know where breaking yards are concentrated anymore. They certainly were in Bhopal, India, for a long period of time. And that's sort of the scrap yard for big vessels, large ocean-going tankers, freighters. Dangerous work because almost everything on a vessel of that kind is toxic in one form or the other. Nobody really cared about safety of the wreckers, but the proper term is breaking yard, not breaker's yard. Still happens because boats need to be taken apart when they finally retire. But this is inspired by the Great Northern, the vessel that Brunel had built, his first big effort to build a large vessel. He was an architect, built the Paddington Station and had a lot to do with the Great Western Railroad, and the vessel still exists in skeletal form in the mud. And if you walk around looking for it, you might stub your toe on a timber or metal. But that inspired this, and then I shrunk it down to a smaller vessel. So this is called "Too Late for the Breaking Yard." It's too late for the breaking yard, too late for the breaking yard. When she sailed too long and she worked too hard, it's too late for the breaking yard. Well, we laid her keeled in the summer heat, tempered every weld in the snow and sleet. She gave all our babies food to eat, so we launched her in the heat. With her high buff plow and her easy chine, the channel floods wouldn't take her time. Didn't like the feel of a dock in line, cargo in her hold. Oh, it's too late for the breaking yard, too late for the breaking yard. She sailed too long and she worked too hard. It's too late for the breaking yard. She could make 10 knots in an autumn dew, could have carried sail she wanted to, never gave a damn when the north winds blew. It was best be on our way, but the scraping ledge and a sunken rail, bloody beach in the northern gale, made the old men dream of the age of sail, while the young men drove her home. Oh, it's too late for the breaking yard. Too late for the breaking yard. Well, she sailed too long and she worked too hard. It's too late for the breaking yard. Ship too proud to give up that way, but its men in muddy had the final say. So they hauled her back to the yard at Gray's, and they sunk her in the tide. So we gave her shelter and we gave her time, took the woodwork out and the new turbine. Couldn't do much more, didn't have the time to scrap her anymore. Oh, it's too late for the breaking yard. Late for the breaking yard. Well, she sailed too long and she worked too hard. It's too late for the breaking yard. We built that vessel so damn well. When the rust took over, the rivets held. So she rested there with the muddy gulls. She'll be resting evermore. So let's raise a glass and a dozen more to the ones who sit there by the shore, to remind us of the times before the timbers turned to steel. Oh, it's too late for the breaking yard. Too late for the breaking yard. Well, she sailed too long and she worked too hard. It's too late for the breaking yard.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
That was wonderful.
Wrong harmonica.
That's okay. I'm feeling like I'm on the wrong harmonica this afternoon too, so we can do that together. Edith and Bennett, welcome.
Right. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Larry. That was awesome.
We're going to sing one that I wrote called Hot Puddin' Pies. And this is, the story is there was a singing fisherman on Verona Island at the north end of Penobscot Bay. If you've ever driven Route 1 east from Belfast towards Bar Harbor, you cross over a bridge in Bucksport, or next to Bucksport, called the Penobscot Narrows Bridge. And that island that you cross onto is called Verona Island. It used to be called Orphan Island. And on it was a fellow named Stephen Decatur Bridges. And he was known as the Salmon King of the Penobscot. And he said that he started singing as a young boy, fishing with his dad, sang all different sorts of songs while he was fishing. And even would sing on his way to and from the market in Bangor. And his wife said she could hear him returning home in the dark of night, walking along the lonely road, because she could hear his voice echoing off the spruce trees along the river.
From like a mile away.
Yeah. So it's a beautiful story of a guy who really existed. And we don't have what songs he was singing. Haven't found the archive that lists his favorite songs. But so I just said, well, maybe he was saying this. Maybe this was his street cry as he was selling fish and, cakes and other. I sort of imagine he was selling fish and then also a bunch of other stuff. So here it goes. And it's a call and response. So feel free to sing along at home.
Then we'll go into a little tune after that.
Oh, called Up the River, which was collected both in Frankfurt, right in that area on one side of the river, and in Orland on the other side of the river.
Yeah.
So here, and that is right, just a few miles from where this fisherman Stephen Decatur Bridges lived. Here we go. Hot puddin' pies, hot.
Hot puddin' pies, hot.
Hot apple pies, hot.
Hot
Hot pudding pies hot.
pudding pies hot.
Hot apple pies
Hot
hot.
apple pies hot.
Salmon cakes and crab cakes.
Salmon cakes and crab cakes.
Fried cod, so help me God.
Fried cod, so help me God.
Salmon cakes and crab cakes.
Cakes and crab cakes.
Fried cod, so help me God.
Fried cod, so help me God.
Hot apple pies hot.
Hot apple pies hot.
Hot pudding pies hot. Hot apple pies hot.
Hot apple pies hot.
Hot apple pies
Hot apple pies
hot.
hot.
Salmon cakes and crab
Salmon cakes and
cakes.
crab cakes.
Fried cod, so help me God.
Fried cod, so help me God.
Salmon cakes and crab cakes.
Salmon cakes and crab cakes.
Fried cod, so help me God.
Fried cod,
So help me God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's the ticket. One more now.
Woo!
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Oh sure.
So welcome. We're gonna send that one out to John and Ellen Goller over there in Belgrade, Maine. That's
We hear you
really
loud and clear.
That was great. Wonderful.
nice.
My turn.
All right, Larry, what you got for us?
I worked on the schooner Bowden during those years we referred to as sort of the duct tape baling wire years, and came to Camden not to work on the water, but to work in a school, and the school closed down. And I needed a job, and there I thought I'd be kind of, brushing or sweeping the docks. And Jim Sharp said, "Well, we need a crew member on the Bowden. So do you play music?" It's the first question he asked. Didn't ask me if I could sail, and I said, "Yep, I do." And there I was, and for a number of years, spent a good part of my summers and falls on board, and really got to know Macmillan's vessel very well, in part because we became friends with Mary Macmillan, Admiral Mac's wife, and she told us many stories about the vessel. And the work that they did wasn't just charting northern waters. And they did that for the Navy as contractors, but also really establishing some cultural links to the north, and respectful ones as well. It's a very long story about the Bowden, but just know that she's been restored a number of times with really loving hands. And about 5 years ago, I thought it was time to ask the younger recent captains of the vessel to tell their stories and provide some oral history. So I went up to Castine in a blizzard, and we all got together, 5 captains and Jim Sharp over the telephone, and just shot the breeze for a few hours. And I recorded it all and put it together in a CD called From a Galley's Soft Light. It's not available commercially, but it's used as a incentive for fundraising for the vessel. And this is a song that was part of that CD. And this is the song that I think can capture the best I can do what it's like to sail in rough weather on that very able vessel. This old schooner. Do you remember those days of the Great Northern Passage? Crossing the Strait of Belle Isle with new snow on her sails, keeping her promise to make Disco Island by autumn, or be tossed in the Labrador Sea in the thick of a gale. Oh, lovely and graceful in the boil of this earth's cruelest waters, white as the gulls she will chase in the late summer breeze. Oh Lord, wouldn't it be nice to sail through a mountain and to tack through the ice? This is the way this old schooner will take us back home. This is the way this old schooner will take us back home. She had good oaken frames and a new deck as thick as this table, windlass and anchor chain ready there high on her bow, ironwood thick copper sheathing the length of her bottom, and a keel that could slide through the ledges and flows like a plow. Well, stout-hearted sailors and passengers, young as her canvas, oh, captains and officers wiser than all of their years, cold to the bone, with their hearts burning bright, while the slapping waves shine in the August moonlight. This is the way this old schooner will take us back home. This is the way this old schooner will take us back home. 3 on the main sheet, 4 when we jibe, 5 on the headsails to back in this tide. All hands to reefer while we still have the time, or it's foresail and jib and a tangle of line. Snap in your harnesses, don't try to jibe. Stay on her headsails, there's no place to hide. Too late to reefer, just strike the main down, or she'll tear into shreds on this stormy wet ground. Making 12 knots past the mouth of the cold Fraser River, tipping our caps to Hawk Harbor, our ship full and by. God knows she can take it, been 29 times to the Arctic, with the shores of Castine and the dear state of Maine in her eyes. Well, here's to the women and men who set out on the ocean. Here's to the sailors who know how to wait on the shore, for those moments in time when it all seemed so right, when you stood middle watch in the deep of the night, saw the stars of Orion first time in your life, and the tumbling comets in the great northern lights, and the soft conversation from the galley's dim light. These are the things all good mariners always have known. This is the way this old schooner still takes us back home.
Thank you, Larry.
Thanks.
Woo!
That was awesome.
Larry, I'm wearing my Janie Riggin t-shirt.
Yeah, I noticed. My
And
t-shirt.
I live in Camden,
Do
not too
ya?
far from Camden Harbor. And
Yeah.
it's so wonderful to see the schooners come in and out.
Oh, it sure is. My T-shirt actually, if you haven't seen it, says Floki's Shipyard, longboats since 1793 AD.
Nice. How perfect.
That's great.
All right. Well, we're going to sing one that I wrote, not about the schooners, but about the longboats of West Africa. I had a Watson Fellowship to go learn the singing of the fishermen in Nungwa, Ghana, and amazing songs as they pull in their nets. And I learned when I was there how to do it, and also that the tradition is threatened by industrial fishing, which vacuums the fish out of the sea and ends a livelihood that is intricately tied to music. So
And community.
Yeah. So it's not totally over yet for them, for sure, but I got inspired to write this song, which captures sort of the vibe of what's going on.
And you wrote it.
There, I wrote it when I was
You wrote
there.
it there. Oh, okay. So this is one of your earliest original
That's right.
songs.
Yeah.
And we haven't played it together ever.
Never. This is
So,
the first, a
thank you for
premiere right
prompting.
here for
Yeah.
you guys.
It's gonna be great.
I'm not generally asked to come play at music festivals, maritime festivals, to sing my original material, but here's a chance, and how exciting.
Haha. Yeah.
I am a fisherman, and I fish every day of the week, except Tuesday when I let the sea rest and I repair my nets. I live down by the beach in a small one-room house in the shade of the palm trees. Life's not easy as silk or as coconut milk, but still I would not change. At 2 every morning, we wake up and board our canoe with my brothers and a couple of cousins and 1 or 2 friends. We go east to cast our nets in the darkness that comes before dawn, and we haul them in using powerful and ancient songs that our forefathers taught us. But you are a doctor, a banker, a lawyer, all important people I see often. But that life is not for me. I was born to fish the sea. The canoe is my cradle and my coffin. Well, you are a salesman, a mailman, a nurse. All your life you spent trying to outrun the black hearse. But that race is not for me. You can't cheat death, you see. So live well from your cradle to your coffin. like my father and father before, on down through the years. And if it is their wish, then my kids will all fish. But the fishing's getting harder now as the factory ships move to the coast. Such tremendous nets, cold industrial boats without musical notes, and still you buy their fish. 'Cause you are a banker, a businessman, bookkeeper, and all extra expenses you must cut down. But that expense you cut is me, and in turn you sell the sea, and the waves that rock my cradle eat my coffin. And you are a salesman, a mailman, a nurse. You work hard and forget to live. That life becomes your curse. But that life is not for me. I enjoy work, you see. Life's a full ladle I sip from often. Oh, your life is not for me. I was born to fish the sea. This canoe's both my cradle and my coffin.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you
What a
guys
powerful-
very much.
powerful lyric, my cradle in my coffin.
Yeah.
Wow. It's amazing.
I love the industrial boats without musical notes, and still you buy their fish.
yeah.
Oh, Bennett, I learned yesterday that you spent your childhood on Islesboro, and I know it well, unfortunately, just for lobster bakes, not for what life was like there. But I did a little digging into the archipelago region of Penobscot Bay, the Outer Bay, and off Stonington were quarries, islands that were turned into quarries. And one of them in particular actually supported a population of families and children who went to school. They built a church. And these were all workers who came from all over the world to work in Maine. The effort was to produce granite for the building of New York City. That was mostly what that was about. And if you look at what's there, slowly but surely, land is being filled in a natural way. But they took big chunks of those beautiful islands with them, and they're not swimming holes; they are just gashes in the earth. And I wrote this song. It's about Maggie's Island, it's called, and I just changed the name, but the notion is a child's eyes and memories go back to a place where they grew up, and yet at one point, those who were mariners who lived on that island had the job of taking their houses apart if they had the means to reassemble them on the mainland. That's such a poignant image to me that I wrote this song. So this is for you guys. Maggie's Island. Well, I knew this island very well. I played upon her shore. This is the place where I was born, and it is my home no more. 1/4 mile there on the hill, the stones where our house stood, the frame and timber sent away. We did the best we could. In 1869, this was one island bay. The granite hills I think of still were first to see the day. Between the mainland and the sea stood, for all I know, a beat-up, stubborn block of stone with room enough to grow. First came the few brave families before the Civil War. Next came the Granite Company, the church, the school, the store. And folks came from other lands, from Scotland, Rome, and Wales, to drill and blast and carve the stone that filled the ships that sailed. My father never learned that trade, a mariner was he. Up here you learn to reef a sail before the age of 3. Still every child born on this soil had salt in their blood too, no matter who their parents were or the country they passed through. But this was home to quarrymen, no other life would fade, and promises of better times could not contain them there. The gashes carved into her ground soon fill with summer rain, and the powder from the grinding wheels turned into soil again. When greed and money shape the way men look upon their land, it's either they destroy the earth or leave it in God's hands. But I was just a little child, to me the world seemed new. I watched my friends all leave their homes, and I left my home too. My parents were among the last employed to serve this land, sailing to the mainland shore with the buildings we tore down. One by one I watched them cut the timbers and pull the nails, and we played inside the empty shells till they too disappeared. And now this island sits among 10,000 hills of pine, and what we couldn't take with us have gone the way of time. A street that has no boundaries, and the rusted out machines, ghosts of child memories, are homeless in my dreams. Knew this island very well, played upon her shore. This is the place where I was born, and it is my home no more. We are the ones who took apart this island with our hands, carried off the wood and stone that was this very land.
Oh, Larry, thank you.
Thank you.
It was beautiful. It reminds me of when I'm in Gloucester and I go hiking and birding around the coast, and I go to the quarries and out into Dogtown, and I see that. And I know that a lot of that rock is in New York City and Brooklyn. So
That's where it all is, yeah.
yeah,
Most of it.
thank you. Edith and Bennett.
All right. Well, we had a set change over here. We got the banjo going, but before we started tuning, I heard. Well, first of all, the granite we were out on Greens Island, which is just a few miles from Stonington, and there's an old granite quarry that we were poking around and thinking about the folks who used to live there and who are now gone. Hurricane Island, same thing.
Yep.
Amazing to hear that story. And you also mentioned whales, and that's the perfect segue for our next song, which is inspired by Moby Dick, and tells a story, one perspective on Moby Dick and the story of whaling. So we hope you like it. It also has sort of an interesting rhyme scheme and cadence, kind of like the song you just sang, Larry. And I wrote it, so it seems like a nice dovetail to what you just offered. It's called The White Whale. We good?
Yeah. All right, we're there now.
Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Old Starbuck was a whaler boy. He grew up on the docks. He started on a pilot boat to guide ships through the rocks. And every crew that he'd guide through would smell of rum and spice, of tropics that they had sailed through, and giant bergs of ice, of farmers who'd wear wooden shoes and guide wheat with the wind, of men from Nauru with big tattoos and girls with butter skin, of riches wrestled from the sea, whale oil by the ton, the biggest monster you could see, the great Leviathan. They set out from Nantucket town, a brave, devoted band. 3 years without their girls back home, 3 years without the land. Quite soon it seemed something was wrong. The captain stayed below, then paced the decks all the night long. His obsession began to grow. White whale, I will not fail to crush you neath my peg. You'll rue the day you swam away with my torn and tattered leg. Poor Starbuck and the other crew had signed their contracts all, and honor bound they stood their ground like leaves before the fall. All hands, it's not the land, but the whale they called Moby. They threw off their coats and dropped the boats into a foaming sea. That whale exploded neath their craft like ivory from the deep, and Starbuck, strong-hearted sailor lad, sent to an early sleep. And one by one the boats were done, and by The Pequod in a million splinters sank just like a sieve. And here I bawl to recall it all, the only soul to live. Yeah, there's a fiddle tune at the end of that, but haven't worked that one up yet.
It's fantastic.
That's great.
We have 8 minutes, people.
Nice, thanks.
Okay. Well, my problem is I don't think I have anything half of that, so I don't know. You guys are welcome.
Go ahead
to
and
do
take
another
it.
one.
Well, go ahead and do one more each,
Okay.
and we'll see where we are after that.
All right. Well, you got me in the ocean spirit. This is Nalagek. Nalagek in Inuit means come again back to visit us. And that's what Macmillan and his wife Miriam heard a lot when they went north. So this is a song that actually I wrote after a sadder version of a song for the boat, but this is called Nalagek. Shores of Arctic lands are blocked all year with ice, they say, all up and down the Davis Strait from Umanak to Melville Bay. Though I had no service binding me, no home, no debt, no family, she needed crew and still took me. Let's bring that schooner home. When we get home from Baffin Bay, we'll lay her up and count the days before she's half a world away and sail in northern lands. Square her off, we'll bring her back, don't be afraid of this one, Mac. One northeast gale on shore and sail will always bring you home. We ran the ledges, took on seas, reefed down the main on shaking knees, and when our water didn't freeze, well, the coffee kept us warm. And when we couldn't find the land or tell the sky from big ice pans, we knew that hull was better than the one down there below. When we get home from Baffin Bay, we'll lay her up and count the days before she's half a world away and sailing northern lands. Square her off, we'll bring her back, don't be afraid of this one, Mac. One northeast gale on short and sail will always bring you home. Who said that ships that sail the seas cannot live in eternity? His plank on frame and ironwood, the work of only man. Every stick of lumber there, measured, hewed, and fitted fair, and hammered home to take us where the ice and blizzards go. When we get home from Baffin Bay, we'll lay her up and count the days before she's half a world away and sailing northern lands. Square her off, we'll bring her back, don't be afraid of this one, Mac. Pull a northeast gale on short and sail will always bring you home. Say Nalagek, may summer breezes bring you back. Our headsails down, main sheet slack, she's been in gales before. We pressed up Sambo Island light, please God Monhegan by tonight. They said she'd sail and they were right, let's bring that schooner home. When we get home from Baffin Bay, we'll lay her up and count the days before she's half a world away and sailing northern lands. Square her off, we'll bring her back, don't be afraid of this one, Mac. Pull a northeast gale on short and sail will always bring you home. When we get home from Baffin Bay, we'll lay her up and count the days before she's half a world away and sailing northern lands. Square her off, we'll bring her back, don't be afraid of this one, Mac. Pull a northeast gale on short and sail will always bring you home.
Thank you, Larry.
That was great.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
All right, we're going to take her home with a tune set.
Oh, yeah.
The first one is called the Janie Riggin, which we're going to call the Janie Riggin, because Janie sent a very, very nice, very kind message in the chat. And it was written by Edith's sister Elsie.
Yeah.
And the second one is called Røros Puls, a Norwegian fiddle tune in honor of the great tradition of Norwegian seamanship and boat building, which made its way to the coast of Maine.
Yeah. Yes.
And we'd like to thank everyone who's been a part of making this happen. Really just amazing festival. Somehow pulling it off on the internet, such a challenge for our organizers. And so please make a donation and just thanks. Thanks for giving us a chance to play music. Jamie, well done.
Thank you all for coming and supporting us and putting up with me this hour.
You've been great.
You guys have been wonderful. Thank you.
You've been great. And thanks to Persis, who was a great point of contact over the weeks before this. And Kate and Linz and everyone else, Jeff, everyone who's been involved. This will be our last tune of the festival. Here we go. Thank you.
Oh, thank you all so much. What a treat to have you. And what a treat to have Larry Kaplan here too. All of you. Thank you so much.